Yeah, are we on?
Alright, I hit play. Facebook says start here in just a minute. Should be good to go, sir.
Good. What's on? All right. This is the second, what are we calling this? The Racing for Recovery Sober Show. Talk to the sober guys or sober people, whatever. We need a name, so somebody needs to figure out a name for this. I have my dear friend and what do I want to say? My dear friend Jeff Herman, who I've known for over 30 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
at least 30 years. Is here to talk about a lot of stuff. We'll be laughing a lot, doing some serious things, but I'm not even sure where to start except I'm glad you're alive and I'm glad you're sober.
I guess I can ditto those same thoughts, and I'm ever so grateful to be able to be sitting here right now and talking to you about this wonderful program and how it's thoroughly changing people's lives on a daily basis, and it just truly is amazing to be a part of it. I'm overwhelmed with so much good feelings, and just grateful that I finally found the truth for my life, and for what this program means to me is just is beyond words, to be honest.
Let's start with this. So why don't you tell me what was lacking prior to you finding it on this last go around? What was missing that you didn't, not couldn't get it, but that you didn't get it? And when I say it, I'm referring to sobriety.
You know, I tell you, the reason why I never got it before is because it never got bad enough for me. For me, and this is just a, this statement is just actually something that, you know, I would like to project to anybody else out there that maybe even just has a glimmer of thought that they might have a substance abuse problem or something that they're self-destructing their life with, that you don't have to lose everything to get this. But for me, that's what it took.
So if I hear you correctly, you're saying you don't have to, quote, hit rock bottom. You can create your own bottom wherever you are.
Absolutely.
Somebody can, it's a beautiful day outside today, the sun's shining, somebody can stop today.
Yeah, clearly. And, you know, I don't like to look back. I mean, I have to look back because I have to remember where I came from. Is I have to use that as a lesson and knowledge to know that I'm one choice away from that happening all over again. But when I look back, it's just, you know, it's amazing to think that that's what it took for me, because you know, I guess, you know, I've said this before about, you know, that for me, I had to lose everything to find what I've been looking for my whole life, and I found myself. And once I found myself, you know, I had to lose everything. And you know what I mean losing everything, I mean losing it all. And I'll quickly just say 5 years ago, I owned a home paid for. I had 2 vehicles. My son had a vehicle. I had $50,000 in the bank. all sorts of material things, and in 4.5 years, not one of those things remained.
So I'm going to stop you there for a second, Jeff, because we talk a lot in Racing for Recovery, and specifically our educational groups, about the stuff, the materialistic stuff, what you mentioned. And I think a lot of people who are watching this can relate to that. But what has been the most, and what I've heard you say that has had the most impact on me is what you've lost that's not a materialistic thing, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, that, and clearly, yeah, by losing all those material things, that's what allowed me to find what I've been, that somewhere a long time ago, through my prior years of addiction, and somewhere my self-worth got lost. And I was always, I guess I always searched for it or covered it up with other things, and not even necessarily substance abuse, because I did have a period of time where I thought that I had a decent life going. I have two wonderful, wonderful children. They're adults now. I don't even call them children anymore, but that absolutely mean the world to me. And but by losing everything, it just left me with just me, and that's where I was at the crossroad in my life where I either go down that hole a few steps further, and I know what those few steps further would have been for me. It would have been death. And or I finally stand up and hold my head up and look to the future and figure out why I was self-destructing my life, not only my life, my family's life, my children's, my friends, and figure out why, and work on that and start building my life the way it was meant to be lived. And
So let's talk about this for a second. And I remember when our other dear friend, Dan Williams, who's an absolute asset to Racing for Recovery, and it's great to have us three back on the right path again, right? But when you called him, and I wish I would have actually heard you calling him, but when you called and said, Dan, is it too late for me to start my life? I mean, talk about that moment for you when you called him and asked that, and what he said back.
yeah, I'll never forget that day. I guess I reached that point where I'm trying to figure out what my next move was, and I'm gonna relate to my spiritual beliefs right now, and because at that moment when I called him, you know, he told me, of course not, Jeff, it's not too late. I have an opening in a recovery house for you right now. And honestly, at that moment, right at that moment, I was terrified, I was freaking out, and I didn't even know what I was gonna do. And I was at my sister's house at that time, and I ran out in the driveway, and I was just totally beside myself. I couldn't even think straight. And I ran out in the driveway, and I just looked up in the sky, and I was weeping, and I just looked up, and I asked God to please show me the way. I said those words out loud, and right at that moment, I got a text from another individual that was kind of, it was a friend of my sister's that had been praying for me and, you know, trying to help me see the light. And his text was so relevant to what I was going through at that very moment. And then I had this feeling come through the top of my head, and it felt like it just riddled through my whole body and down through my feet, and I dropped to my knees outside in my sister's driveway. And at that moment, that very moment, I had this overwhelming feeling that I knew everything was going to be okay. I knew what I had at that very moment. I knew what I had to do, and I knew where I had to go. And that afternoon, I went into the Zeph Recovery House, and that's where my life started over. And
How did, after you received secure housing through the Zeph Center, which we have been pleased to work with for over a number of years, once you were established with a roof over your head, and then you decided to come back to Racing for Recovery and fully invest in yourself by doing our educational group, talk about the process of what that's done for you that has made you the awesome dude that you are today.
God, man, there's so much in that, but you know, this program, the balanced holistic lifestyle that this program promotes, I just bought into it all the way, not sort of, or thinking, I'll just believe a little bit of this, but yet I'm gonna, you know, which I've always done in the past, and, you know, go back to my own thinking, or my own thinking that I can somehow control my actions and do it on my own. And it was a 100% all-in commitment to, I'm done, I am done, and I'm gonna move forward, and I'm gonna trust the process of recovery, and trust the beliefs of this program. And I've been in recovery before, years ago. I mean, my gosh, in 1993, I was going to AA meetings with you, Todd, and you know, but I just always thought I knew what I needed, you know, and I never committed 100% to saying I'm done and I'm going in another direction. And today I really don't know where my life has taken me, but I know that my life is going forward, and I'm not living my life, I'm not living today for what I went through yesterday. You know, I'm not living in that, you know, I'm living my life today for tomorrow, and for the next day after that, because I know that I'm going to have that. Where before that was never a guarantee. Or if I knew, if I was lucky enough to stay alive through my battles, it was just going to be you know, my future was just destined to be a bunch of bad decisions on how I'm going to get my next fix, or my next numbing to heal, or to numb out the pain of all the destructive things that I've done over the years. But you know, and I just don't live that way today. I don't have those feelings today. I'm just I'm blessed. I'm blessed that I finally got it. I got it. I finally believe that this is the answer, and for almost 6 months now that I haven't done anything else but come to this building,
All right.
come to intensive outpatient, go to meetings, and I hang out with people that are committed to this program. That's my everyday life for the past 6 months, and if it wasn't for that, I can almost guarantee you I'd be right back where I was.
Well, two other, one side. Todd, if anybody has any questions, you know, and you can sit over here if you want to or something, so if somebody's got a question, let us know and we can carry that
A
on.
lot of positive feedback.
Awesome.
Doing
Let-
great, Jeff.
We gotta keep it going, and even if somebody out in the hallway wants to come in or whatever, but, to ask questions, that's fine. But you mentioned, you know, coming here, doing the support group meetings, doing our educational group, which is great, and I 100% endorse those services. Two of the main things that I've seen you do that I've never seen you do before is doing the Racing for Recovery spirituality meeting, and you're back in the gym, which is something that we bonded with in high school, was with the athletic component of it, right?
Yeah.
So those two, what about those other two components?
It's crucial. That's why I believe so much in this program and what it promotes. You know, it's not just about stop using drugs and alcohol or whatever self-destructive thing you're doing, but it's just about, you know, making all the other components that make your life up better. You know, spiritually, that meeting is that I go to every Thursday here at 5:30. It's helped me in so many ways I can't even describe. And physically, 6 months ago, when I walked through these doors, I weighed 165 pounds. And I got on the scale here yesterday, and I weighed 200 pounds.
And that's not fat.
Yeah,
That's not fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I might have a little belly, but it just what it's doing for my self-worth and my self-esteem. It's just so awesome to feel good about yourself in so many different aspects, and that's just what this program is all about. You know, it's about dealing with why were you using the drugs and alcohol in the first place, working through those issues, and then building your life in the balanced, holistic manner that involves spiritual, physical, all of the things that we talk about. And it's good stuff, man.
So let's talk about some music for a minute and lighten the mood a little bit. We've talked about this, and we don't tell war stories, so this isn't a war story, but it's an example of the mindset, right? I know you recall when there was you, myself, Dan, and one other individual driving around in, what kind of car did Ken have?
Oh yeah, it was a Honda Civic.
The Honda Civic, and listening to AC/DC's Highway to Hell, and I think at times Back in Black, Highway to Hell being a better record, right? And just, you know, doing drugs, the kind doesn't even matter, but totally doing unhealthy things.
Absolutely.
But having that power of music in there. And one of the things, and we've talked about this often, when you and I went to see Metallica last summer, there's 50,000 people up in Detroit at Comerica Park, and you had said to me at one point, Todd, I haven't done something like this in so long. I forgot how good this feels. This truly is a great night.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking how happy I was to be doing that with you, and then on the same token, I was sad for you because it was like, this is what we should be doing every day. Yeah. Not seeing Metallica every day, but I think I responded to you something in the fact of, Jeff, the difference between our lives right now is this is like mind-boggling for you to be doing this, and for me, it's normal.
You expect.
I expect it. That's
Yep.
right. I
Yep.
expect to be with a good person doing an activity that I enjoy and doing it in a sober mind. I expect to do that. I'm not shocked when that happens.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I deserve to be doing that. I'm saying by sustaining sobriety, this is what you get. This is what comes. It's the exact opposite of what comes in addiction, and then you get these fleeting moments where you do something cool, and you think it's like this extraordinary thing, when in fact, like I said, it's just, this is normal.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see what I was talking about.
Absolutely. I was just telling you, I don't know if it was last night, that just now, just in the last few weeks, because that's the other thing that, and I'm not kind of breaking the subject a little bit, but it just reminded me of when I walked through these doors 6 months ago, and you came up to me and you said, "Jeff, you need to do, this time, you need to do something different than you've always done before." And I always thought that I could never stop working. You know, I always thought that there was no way that I had to not, I just didn't think it was possible for me not to work. Because I think for whatever reason, not only because of the money aspect, but I thought that that's where, because I'm a carpenter by trade, and I've always taken a lot of pride in, even through my addiction, through my work. But I decided, with that 100% all-in commitment, I said, yeah, I'm done. It's time. It's time for me to focus on me and me only, and fix this once and for all. And I stopped working. And I just in the last 7 weeks ago, I backed down on my IOP schedule, my intensive outpatient schedule some, and went back to work. Not 100% full-time yet, but that allowed my finances to come back around a little bit, and so now I'm just actually feeling the benefits of having some money again, and obviously not using it for anything negative, and able to do fun, sober things. I'm just so excited for the future.
Right.
And like I said, I'm not sure where my life is going 100%, but I know it's going to go somewhere good, because I'm just committed. My commitment is just as, if not stronger today than it was 6 months ago.
You know, and for those that may or may not have know Jeff personally, or have seen his craftsmanship, if I could use that word, he's an extraordinary, talented, not only individual, but your skills as a craftsman, and what you've created with building that educational table in there, that even when you were not at the right stage yet, and I was saying, Jeff, what you're creating here is going to help potentially thousands of people, and now to watch you come in with pride and show that table off to other people who are coming into the program and stuff, for me, I feel like a proud dad, watching that, and one of the other things that you've taught me, Racing for Recovery had the unique concept of combining everybody in one support group meeting format, right? And knowing you the way that I have for all these years, I've gotten a taste to somehow feel what it's like to be on the other side and watch somebody hurting from drugs and alcohol. And over the years, when you'd come back into my life for some brief moments, and I'm like, okay, here's my buddy, I want him to come back, and then you'd unfortunately make your choices and go do whatever. It's like, man, this sucks, what can we do? But to watch it now, where you've come in and it's stuck, now I'm starting to even empathize more with how grateful families must feel when their loved one turns it around. Because that's what you've shown me, is more of that empathy for what our families go through.
Yeah.
You're a dear friend, but at the same token, it's relatable to what the families must look like when we're doing what we're doing, you know? So I appreciate that of you.
Do have a question from the audience here. It's from Ashley Kelly. She said, Jeff, do you have any long-term goals in your sobriety?
Oh, boy. Hitting the nail on the head. I tell you what, and it's amazing, because this just came up, we talked about it just about an hour and a half ago.
Right?
Yeah, because 6 months ago, when I walked in these doors, and I was, was still a little nervous about not working. And I was talking to our good buddy Dan Williams about how am I, how am I gonna? I'm worried about my financial situation, and and he said, and I remember Dan saying to me, he said, Jeff, you know what, you commit to yourself and to this program 100%, and he goes, you just might, after a period of time of working on yourself and working in this program, you may find that you may not even want to do what you've done your entire life. Yeah. And it's truly amazing, because at that time, I remember him saying that, and I remember be like, I thought that was an asinine statement, because that's all I've ever done for 30-some years is be a carpenter, getting into construction, and I have made good, money doing it over the years, but it's amazing how that's coming into fruition now in my life, because I feel like in my mind that I have another calling somewhere, and the whole money thing doesn't mean anything to me now. It's amazing the changes that happen, not only that I visibly see and hear in other people that are committed to this program, but now I'm just feeling it in my own life that and that's what I mean when Ashley asked me as far as long-term goals. I don't know exactly where my life is going, but I'm starting to feel like that what I'm doing as far as work and that sort of thing, I feel like maybe somehow I want to make have another alternative, something else that's going to bring fulfillment into my life, and so we'll see what the future holds.
I know you have your book highly marked and it looks beat up, which is good.
Beat up.
And I love how during the Thursday meetings you'll stand up and it's, I'm Jeff, and start talking, but you reference that our Cleveland book quite often, and you have some stuff highlighted in there. Was that to prepare for today's interview, or what was that? What's that for?
Yeah, because you know what, and I'll use the words "yet" in this. What I'm about to say is that sometimes I have so many thoughts that go through my mind as I'm in this building and in a meeting or an IOP, and sometimes they get so jumbled up, so I don't really know how to express them verbally. But the words in this book, every single one for that matter, I feel in my heart.
Wow.
And so this book makes it easy for me to say what I feel, because truly there are so many things in this book that I feel so strongly about, and not just that, but just right from my heart, gut honest, good feelings, so I often refer to the book when we're out, just because it's easy for me to read it right out of here, where they're all those words are inside me, but I just can't, sometimes I can't put them together verbally yet.
You want to read something from it? That I'm curious, for me, watching you prosper, I like just watching what resonates for you in that.
Yeah, and you know what, each chapter of this book, for anybody that doesn't know, but each chapter of this book represents our 10 lifestyles of recovery that Racing for Recovery has, and there's no specific order with these lifestyles, but you know, I guess in the last couple months, I've really been I've been reading chapter 7, and that's lifestyle number 7. And I'll read it, and that lifestyle is lifting a person up is different than allowing them to continue their destructive lifestyles. Be there for yourself and be patient. Key word. Be patient with your friends and family. And out of that chapter, because I don't know how many times I've read this chapter over and over, but because I love reading it, and it's, you know what, it's healing. It's healing the wounds that I created over the years. And those wounds, a lot of those wounds are hurt and things that I've caused my family. Most importantly, my son and my daughter. But ever so slowly, those wounds are being healed. They are, and but here's a great paragraph in this book, and it's in chapter 7, and it's the knife edge of consistent sobriety. And it says the amazing thing about family is that given time, they will come back around to support you. It says, think of your relationship with them as a rock wall, the kind that you see in illustrations of Robert Frost poems or at the end of The Shawshank Redemption. Each time you screwed up while trying to get sober, got dropped off by the police, or betrayed their trust in another way, that's a stone knocked out of the wall. Eventually, that wall becomes riddled with holes and is at risk of collapse. Recovering your relationship with your friends, with your family and friends, is about rebuilding that wall, stone by stone. It's back-breaking work. But, and here it is, mending that wall, and these words mean so much to me. Mending that wall demands that you understand yourself and your loved ones. It demands that you get educated about the cause of your using or drinking so you can get past it. It demands physical, mental, and spiritual healing. It demands living with the responsibility for what you did while addicted, not so that you wallow in guilt, but so that you never forget addiction's lessons. I mean, it's just, those words are so strong and so powerful to me that I don't even know. It's overwhelming how strongly I feel and want to live that way. I'm just, again, I'm overwhelmed with it. It's just awesome because it's healing. That's healing, and you know, it feels good to heal. It feels really good to heal.
You know,
it sucks getting hurt. Yep.
Ashley asked that question. What does long-term sobriety or goals look like? And I know some people always say, well, you only have for today. I'm like, I get that. Embrace today. Today's awesome. But you also have to be looking to the future, right? And understanding the past to appreciate today while planning for the future. And you said something earlier too, that was really profound, that one of the things that has stuck with you from the start of this is to trust in the process. And I always go back, I look at you now, but I always go back to when you, Dan, and I were driving in your van. We were going to those smoky Cocaine Anonymous meetings. This is back when you could smoke inside, you know.
Right.
I'm sitting there like this and, you know, just absolutely dying. And getting some stuff out of those meetings, you know, contemplating some other things while I was in those groups. But to trust in the process, the only thing I knew at that time was I was done and I was going in another direction. Yeah. And to have now you read from a book of this program's and how that has helped you is another example to answer Ashley's question about, you know, what's ahead. Greatness is ahead.
Yeah.
What's ahead? Opportunity is ahead.
Yep.
What's ahead? Laughter, healing, progression, forgiveness, caring, understanding, all of those things that will come in a variety of manners. Because if somebody would have said to us riding in that van in 1993, you know, 25 years later, you guys are going to be reading from a book of a program that you're both in,
Wow.
that program has created, I would have been like, you're crazy. But if you just trust in that process, that things are going to get better, this is another example for those that are watching your story to see, oh, yeah, they will.
Yeah.
We might not know how yet,
Yep.
but they will.
Yep.
And I guess it goes back to literally our slogan of, with sobriety, anything is possible. And it's true, right?
It is true. It is true. And not only do I read words in this book of what the process can bring, but I see living proof
Yep.
of it every single day when I come to this building. And in all different forms, levels, I should say, of what is happening with people that trust the process. And I don't know, it's inspiring, it's motivating, and I believe it. I just believe it with every bit of honesty and faith that I have. I just believe it, and I know it.
We're gonna close with a couple key things. So I want you to talk about what laughter, genuine gut bellying, aching laughter, how that has just been helpful and fun being around us this time.
Man, you know, I guess all the other times that I've been involved in recovery that obviously haven't worked, but I always thought that how can it be fun to be sober, or how, and I'm telling you what, that's just the biggest most false statement or belief that I could ever have had, because it's cool to, it's even better, you know, and I'm just gonna relate it to using for a second, you know, to think, you know, you smoke some pot or whatever, and you think, you know, that's fun, you know, you see somebody do something stupid and you laugh at it, you know, but you know what, that's fake.
Yes.
When we laugh, when our laughter and our humor here, it's real, and it man, I'm gonna tell you what, there's no better feeling in the world.
Right.
Truly. And I know it's real, it's not fake.
Right.
So yeah, that's a great component to what we do here, and I don't know. Awesome. I love it. I just love it.
What would you, this is the last question I'm going to ask for you. So somebody out there who's doing whatever, hopefully, I always, anytime we're doing any type of media thing, I think of the guy or the girl who's in a state of not doing well. And they see whatever form of media thing we're doing, a support group meeting, a newspaper article, whatever, and they're like, I want that. And they just pick up the phone and call. You're answering the phone at Racing for Recovery, and Steve or Sally calls from wherever and says, I need help. What can I expect from Racing for Recovery? How do you answer that question?
you can expect, you can expect to, if you commit, how I can answer that is if you're willing to commit 100% to what this program believes in, you'll expect that you're gonna feel so much better about yourself. And it's not even gonna take that long, but it's gonna take a 100% commitment. And it's not even gonna take that long. Honestly, it didn't take that long for me. And I have years of a destructive path. But by me making that 100% all-in commitment, it didn't take, I don't even, and I'm not trying to, and don't take anybody take this the wrong way, that when I say it took but maybe a couple, 3 weeks, and I started to hold my head up when I talked to people, and I started to look them in the eye, you know, and that's just of making that 100% commitment to what this program believes in, and believing in yourself, and that's what I think you can expect if you make that commitment to what this to this program.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Todd, any other questions anybody wants to ask?
Not any other questions right this moment, but Jeff, awesome. You're so proud of you and everything you've done, man. You're an inspiration to so many people. Keep up the great work, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Again, if you have an idea, anybody that's watching this, if you have any idea of what to call the show, I've had, again, this has been a vision of mine for a long time, is to have a format like this, and I used to want to call it Ask the Addict. And I can't do that, because this is not about Ask the Addict anything. I'm not an addict. I'm not addicted to drugs anymore. Right? So if we do need to find a name for this thing. If you're watching us, Thursday nights for our live stream, or the interview things that we're going to do every Friday at noon, please subscribe to that YouTube channel and promote this. And if you want to come on and share your story wherever you are, we can do Skype sessions for people that are